Hey everybody, Vicky Fitch here, your direct sales expert and the host of Step Up, Stand Out, and Speak. I mean, it's really about time, and I think you guys agree because we've had a lot of people lately been talking about how frustrated they are. A lot of people behind the scenes are talking about frustration, overwhelm, and disconnects that are going on state to state, throughout the country, throughout the world. And so we're going to talk about it. And so today, as you guys got to see that we're talking about, are you leading the charge or fleeing the charge? And what that means, if you don't know already, and by the way, if you whatever platform you're on, if you guys could go ahead and make sure that you hit that share button, I'd appreciate it. And I did forget to pull you Periscopers up again. I apologize for not having it on the second one, but if you put your name in the chat box so I can give you a shout out, I'd appreciate it. I want to acknowledge that you guys are here. If you're watching from a group, it's just going to say Facebook user. And if you are watching from a watch party, I cannot see your comments. You have to actually come into one of the four channels that we're on. We're on Facebook, on my profile, my page, as well as YouTube and Periscope. So, the charge in life can be, a commitment, an opportunity, things that you're moving towards. And right now, during this pandemic, there's been a lot of stuff going on in California. And since I live in California, hey, Melanie, welcome to the broadcast. Since I live in California, I'm able to speak to that a little bit more because I'm not only privy to the information, but I'm kind of engaged. I'm highly engaged in it because I have an active interest in making sure that my state is taken care of. And my clients and customers are here. I mean, I have them all over the world, but I have a large base right here. And so, put a one in the chat box if you guys remember, or that 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 here in the United States, President Trump issued an executive order to allow for unemployment earnings of $400 additional dollars per week. Per person, so people can try and get back on their feet and make sure that things are happening. Hey, Kim, welcome. That make sure that people don't lose their homes, that they can eat, that we can, keep our economy going while we're trying to figure these things out and get people back to work. Thanks to Ty Pierce. Thanks, Kendra. Welcome, guys. Appreciate it. And if you pop your name in the chat box, I appreciate it. If you hit the share button, I'd appreciate that too, because a lot of people want to talk about this. They're just kind of afraid. So I know there's many of you lurkers out there, and that's okay. We appreciate you too. You're welcome to continue sending me private messages, but your voice can be heard and your opinion can be expressed, whether it's in agreement with me or disagreement. That's totally up to you. You're never going to be ridiculed or chastised by me. You're allowed and you're encouraged to think freely. We just ask that you hear the information and process it and ask good questions instead of just jumping on a bandwagon and regurgitating something else you heard from someone, because then that way we can actually have conversations. So anyway, President Trump signed an executive order here to allow $400 additional per week unemployment to go to people, and there are many states that are having trouble with that because percentage, I believe it's 25%. So here in California, $100 per person that the state would have to pay. Okay. So he's trying to create something that's contributed by the state as well as the federal government. The federal government is paying the lion's share of it, but asking the states to contribute, which, seems fair. We are paying taxes into our state. So, we're the employers are paying taxes. If you don't know much about payroll taxes, there's FICA, FUTA, and SUTA, and some of those names are called a little bit different sometimes. But FUTA is federal unemployment, SUTA is state unemployment, and FICA is your Social Security. All right, so we as employers are paying into those both FICA, which is the Social Security, and the FUTA and the SUTA. So we're paying both, federal and state unemployment, and so it makes sense that the states would also participate in what's going on. Now, again, then this isn't a condemnation. Yeah, just disagree respectfully. Exactly, Kim. California iPhones need to update iCloud faster. Not sure what that means, fair witness, but alrighty then. That we're not trying to condemn, but we are trying to expose light to areas that many people are kind of avoiding, and it's challenging, but we're going to do it anyway. And we're going to do it respectfully. So, when governor and the way they put it in the article that I read yesterday was that Newsom says there's no money in the piggy bank for him to contribute for this unemployment. Now, I do have a bone to pick with him, and many of you guys know if you've been watching the broadcast, is that he says he doesn't have the money to contribute to the people that are hurting. Because I mean, if we look at if we look at the things that are really problematic right now, I'm thinking making sure people eat and have a place to live and have utilities on would be at the top of the scale. I mean, that's what I think. I mean, what do you guys think? Put a 2 in the chat box if you think that's kind of a top priority of the leader. As a leader, our job is to protect the people. Now he's hired and his salary is paid for by the people to protect the people. That's what a governor is. He's governing the state of California. He has, mayors and different government officials to help. You got county supervisors and those. So we have different layers of government, but that's his job, is to protect the people and trying to help them. When we have, issues that go on, then he needs to make sure that, he reaches out to the federal government. He's also supposed to protect, private property or the law enforcement. And you guys know that the whole defund the police we'll talk about on another episode, right? And Fair Witnesses, worst part is we as users get flooded out by photo data. No part to. Okay, Fair Witness, seriously? Like, I don't know, are you an app dealer? Like, what is that? I don't even know. Are you just a troll or a bot? I have no idea what that is even. We're not talking about that. So how about we get into this combo and we can try and figure out what that is later. Frazier, welcome to broadcast. Appreciate you being here. And so as we look at this and say, okay, there's no money in the piggy bank. We've identified that people need to eat. And again, hit the share button if you haven't already. We've identified people need to eat. We've identified they need shelter and protection. But so let's talk about what Governor Newsom, and again, look at your own state regulations of what's happening in your state. This is just an example of how people are choosing to rebel and how they're choosing to make this work. So just, here for a second, because I got to set the stage so you understand what's happening. So he's chosen, this thing where he's not going to pay that money out, but he is adding, he is paying sustenance to illegal immigrants. Now, those people may or may not be, they may or may not be contributing to, payroll and taxes and stuff. Some are, many aren't. They get paid cash, different things. So they may or may not. But the point is they're illegally here. And so should you be taking the funds and putting them, and I think we're going to actually expand on this one tomorrow. So I won't go into too much detail, but I'll just say, should we really be paying those funds out to those and on all these other programs, $758 million that he put towards a remodel of the office in Sacramento, or should we be helping the people, right? And so I lay that groundwork, and we'll pick that apart tomorrow, right? And we'll unpack that tomorrow. But we lay that groundwork and then identify, because inconsistencies are what leads to rebellion. Would you guys agree with that? Put a 3 in the chat box if you agree. Inconsistencies in leadership lead to rebellion. When we believe in a leader and we believe they have our best interests at heart, we tend to follow. Even if we're a little nervous, we're like, okay, they have a good track record. I believe that they have my best interests at heart. I'm going to go ahead and keep moving forward. And then as we see things that that's not really adding up, we start using logic and asking good questions. We say, wait a minute, what's happening here? Are we leading the charge or fleeing the charge? Many people are fleeing California because of these inconsistencies. Some people are leading the charge, saying, hey, we got to fight back. We got to stand up to this. And let's see some questions here. Would be interested in bringing your daily show to Double Mint Radio by bringing your show to the UK. Fraser, I'd be happy to do that. We can talk about that later. Hey, Mel, thank you. And so we've got to look at this and say, okay, am I getting accurate data? Am I getting accurate information? So when we start to see inconsistencies, we lose our confidence in the leadership. Now, yesterday, I think it actually came out a couple weeks ago, but yesterday it was kind of breaking where things were going big, is that the DA, well, let me back up one more second. You guys probably know, put a 4 in the chat box if you know that Governor Newsom has also called California a sanctuary state. The federal government has said, we don't want illegal immigrants here. We want legal immigration. Absolutely. This is a melting pot and everybody's welcome here. They just need to come through legally, right? And whether you agree with that or not, you can understand the structure and that it's the legal precedent that the federal government has set up. Legal immigration is what we're shooting for, right? So Governor Newsom decided to rebel against the federal government. And he has declared California a sanctuary state, meaning I don't care what the federal government says. You don't have to be a legal citizen. Come on in. Not only come on in, but I'm going to pay you to be here during the pandemic. I'm going to use the California taxpayer funds and I will pay you just like the federal government has been giving stimulus checks. I'm giving stimulus checks, and this is true. You can look it all up yourself. This is not speculation. It's not conspiracy theory. He doesn't deny this. Look it up on Google. I mean, Google sucks anyways, but look it up on Google, look it up on DuckDuckGo. He doesn't deny it. Okay. He's doing this. It's said that he wants the voter base in order to do it, and that's why he's doing it. But that's neither here nor there. The point is he is doing it. He's taking California taxpayer money when we're already struggling, and he's declared California a sanctuary state. Come here, even if you're illegal. We don't mind. We will not deport you. We will not do anything to you, but we will pay you to be here. Now, that's, I mean, if you understand where that's going, so he's rebelling on whether or not he believes that's right or whatever. I mean, he is voted in by the people to implement their will, not his own, which seems to be a little off these days because he seems to be implementing his own agenda and not the will of the California people. But like I said, we had to set that stage to identify another rebellion that's come in, so here's his sanctuary state. He's also put out orders that, I don't know if you guys know this, he made it a punishable offense to go to church. So churches that are open, that you can be arrested. I haven't seen anyone get arrested yet, but I have heard they're cutting off utilities. They're cutting, or that he has given Mayor Garcetti the authority, and I think even the recommendation to cut off utilities, electricity, water, gas, to facilities that are not complying with his order. Now, I'm pretty sure that's illegal because I don't know. Like I said, I'm sure there's lawsuits going back and forth, but it's all very convoluted. The important part that we understand is that he's making his dictatorial things and saying, yes, I'm going to arrest you. Right. And so he's he's rebellious in his sanctuary state. If you go in these groups, I can't arrest you. Like I said, I don't know that it has happened yet. I know some other people have been arrested for opening their businesses. A gym owner was arrested while he's allowing, he's letting out 8,000 inmates. Some of them were their child rapists and stuff like that, which is another show that we'll talk about. But so he's arresting law-abiding citizens that are simply trying to not go bankrupt while he's letting out prisoners who are rapists and robbers and murderers. It's insane, right? I mean, like, if this is like the Twilight Zone, what's up is down and what's down is up. It makes no sense. But there are people that are now leading that charge and saying, hey, I'm not going to flee anymore. I'm not listening to this gibberish because it makes no sense. I've lost my confidence in you as a leader. And the district attorney of San Luis Obispo County came out. I think it was a week ago, but again, it kind of broke here, in a bigger way, that he has declared San Luis Obispo County in California a sanctuary county. Okay, so we're starting to see rebellion can go both ways. So he wants to rebel against the president. Well, we're tired of his dictatorship and saying, you can arrest people, you can let out criminals, you can spend our money. He spent $1 billion of California taxpayer money on masks in China. If you don't know about that one, look at my newsfeed. He doesn't deny that either. This is not speculation. This is fact. So he's using the money, and now he's saying the coffers are empty. He's also passing other bills, which we'll get into and other things. But we have to understand that now there is San Luis Obispo County has declared themselves a sanctuary county from all worshipers. You may come, you may worship, you may hold church service there. You are not required to wear a mask. You are not required. It's a sanctuary county. So now basically the district attorney says, I'm not going to implement the orders, the unlawful orders of the governor. And so that's what we call leading the charge. So, this is the same kind of thing that had to happen like here in the United States, and all countries have gone through their own civil wars and gone through additional wars and things where tumultuous situations caused people to rebel and say enough is enough. So So when we're talking about leading the charge or fleeing the charge, most people are fleeing. If we look at this, the religious aspect here about people going to church, most pastors shut down the churches and haven't reopened them. There are rebels like my pastor, which praise God for him, and again, this isn't a religious message, yet we have to understand the First Amendment. It does allow us freedom of religion. It allows us, and I don't know if all of you know this. So I'm just gonna, hey, good to see you too, Carpio. I'm gonna read, if I think I pulled it up. I'm gonna read the First Amendment for you because so many people don't know what it exactly says. So I just pulled it up really quick. It says, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Okay, so Congress didn't make the law. The dictator, as our governor did. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. I think my free exercise is prohibited if I am not allowed to go to church, or abridging the freedom of speech. We're not allowed to be in groups. We're not allowed to sing even with a mask on. I mean, it's really insane. Or of the press, or of the right of the people peaceably to assemble. Churchgoers are typically not rioting, and to petition the government for redress of grievances. So as we look at that, then we have to say, what are we? Are we, right? Like, are we fleeing the charge or leading the charge? And I'm leading a charge here of conversation because there's lots of people that won't have it. They are silent. That's why it says stop being silent is the hashtag I'm using. It's okay if you don't agree with me. If you think that this is wrong, speak up. You're not going to be ridiculed, chastised, harassed, shamed. You're allowed to have your own opinion. I just ask that you listen. I ask that you answer those questions. Like, once leadership has shown that your best interests are not at heart, is it easy to continue following them? And when should you stop? So when your governor is absolutely, taking away your First Amendment right, peaceable protests, we've been trying that. He kicked people off the lawn in Sacramento. He's not paying attention. He has his own agenda. When people have their own agenda and they're in a public position, we have to talk. We have to speak up. So people are opening up their churches. This DA has said, I am a sanctuary county. I will not be prosecuting those unlawful orders. And then we have people on the other side who are fleeing the charge, and they are choosing to arrest people that are, there was a gym owner and he's like, I'm going to go bankrupt. I've lost, over, I think it was 2/3 of his business. If I don't get my members in there, I will go bankrupt. I will practice all of your conditions. I will clean. I will this, I will that. And he arrested him. So where do you find that the line should be drawn? I mean, we've proven, and I recognize that COVID is real, but we've proven that walking down the street without a mask on is not like Typhoid Mary killing everyone. I mean, I walk around without a mask on all the time. Every time I go out, unless I'm going into a store that requires it, I do not wear a mask. I have no symptoms. I have been tested. Well, that's not true. I haven't been tested. My son's been tested and they wouldn't let me in the hospital if I had any symptoms of it, but I haven't physically been tested for COVID. I have no symptoms. I'm not sick. I don't feel bad. No one around me has gotten sick or feels bad. So where do we draw the line? And are we willing to step up? Are we willing to lead the charge and say, hey, let's talk about difficult circumstances. Let's talk about why people are choosing to allow someone to take away our rights. I mean, when we're not doing anything, if this was a deadly disease and as soon as you breathed on someone, they died, I see things differently. That's you infringing on the rights of other people. That's not what's happening. I mean, we all agree that is not what's happening. I can't breathe on you and you die. If that was the case, I got to be quarantined. I have to be, because I will unintentionally kill other people. But even the lepers had a place to go, right? Even the lepers were moved out, even though they were highly contagious. They were moved out in the olden times, right? So we have to stop being silent. And we have to address it when our rights are being trampled on and when people don't no longer care about what's right for the people. So I'd love to know what your opinion is, you guys. I'm cautious about what I post politically. You know what, Melanie, of course you're cautious because some people will attack. I had somebody block me today for they were commenting on my post. They just disagreed, and no one was mean. No one was disrespectful. And then when I tried to reply to a comment they made to me, their profile doesn't exist. So I was like, really? You blocked me for what? Because it's like a rage quit. It's like either emotionally they've been so supercharged by being beat up other places that they just you don't somebody doesn't agree and they lose it. Or, hey, is that a good thing, Irv says, Vicky, you're killing me. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's a good killing or a bad killing. I have no idea, but I love you, Irv, either way. I've had people tell me not to post anything on Facebook because it will ruin my business. You know what, Kim? I say, I've always said, and you guys know if you've read my books, you got to find your tribe. When you find your tribe is your tribe. I don't care if you and I disagreed on something. I can still value you as a person, and unless you told me, something like I admit, if you told me that you were murdering, animals for fun, I would distance myself from you. That's the truth. But if you have a right, Irv says he think I froze. Can the rest of you guys see me? If you otherwise you have a right to your opinion. If we have different views that are so extreme that we can't, that I can't respect, like I said, murdering animals on purpose for fun, that's I'm sorry, that's evil. That's just evil. And so if that's your thing, then you and we can't be part of the same tribe. You get to live your life and I get to live mine. Thanks, Kim. Oh, you're back. Thanks, Irv. So, we have to recognize that. And by the way, again, if you have not hit that share button, hit the share button. This is a good conversation. And I get that it's got to do with some specifics about my state, but what about your state? What about your country? What about your province? Are you feeling, because this is not a local thing. This is a worldwide pandemic and everybody's handling it differently. But how would you feel if your government started trampling on your rights? Now, you guys have different rights in different countries. We do have a lot of freedoms here in the US, which is why it's a safe haven for most people that they want to come here. And so, but we have to stand up for them. We, just like we did in the revolution, just like we did in other times, we had to stand up for what we believed was right. And that's what I want to encourage you guys to do. Stop being afraid of the trolls that are going to attack you. Stop being afraid. And I'm not saying it like stop being afraid. I'm saying we have to work on it to stop being afraid of things because people are going to practice the cancel culture. People are blocking me. They unfriending me. Okay, bye. I mean, I'm bummed. I'm sorry because I think we can have intelligent conversations. But if you don't and you want to go, all right. I mean, if you guys probably remember, I told you this, and plus it was in my book. When my ex-husband left me way back in the day, 30 years ago or whatever, I was only married a year, and I was so sad. And my friend Dale, he says, "Baby, why you want to love somebody that don't love you?" Right? And isn't that so telling? Why do we want to connect and stay connected with people on Facebook or social media channels or neighbors or people that we think are our friends when they don't care about us? When they're so self-absorbed in their own ideals and thinking that they're right, that they have no room for anyone to have a differing opinion. If that's the case, then why you want to love somebody that don't love you, right? That's my friend Dale putting it in Dale terms. Watching over here too in case Periscope crashes. Thank you, Mel. There are things I disagree with on training horses, and I don't care if it repels people. There you go, Kim. You got to be you, right? And you will attract your tribe. Years ago, an old schoolmate blocked me for my opinion against homosexuality. Okay, like I said, they can do what they want to do. They get to pick. And if they can't accept you for you, then it's okay. We got to accept that. Jan says we can all be friends regardless of whether we agree on absolutely every aspect of politics. Absolutely, Jan. When did this become so crazy volatile? Jan, you know what? That's such a great question. I was saying that to myself. Is like, what in the world? Since when can I not have a conversation? Can I not have an opinion? Because if you know anything about me, I have an opinion. I mean, I don't expect you to have the same opinion I do, but I have an opinion and I will share it, but I will share it respectfully and I will ask you questions. And if you get obnoxious and mean, I'll still try and be as respectful as I can before if you get really out of control, I'll be like, you know what? I don't think you're in the place right now for us to converse. So maybe we should, not be here together, but I've never blocked anyone. I mean, I'm not saying I won't someday because, if you guys want to go head to head, I guess I could, but I've never blocked anyone on social media. I believe in having conversations and I believe in us that we can come to conclusions together is that we have to make a choice. We're either going to lead the charge or flee the charge. If your rights, if your property, if your home, your family is being trampled on, you got to make a choice if you're going to actually step up and stand out or you're going to back down. Kim says a friend on Facebook posted and said, I hate Trump supporters and have no use for them. And I unfriended her. Okay. I wouldn't unfriend her. I am a Trump supporter. I'll be honest about that. When President Trump first was elected, I was not a fan. And I can't say that I appreciate the way he does some things. As a matter of fact, I was more than not a fan. I was more than not. I voted for him because his values, the things he was voting on lined up with my Christian values, right? And I know he's got a sordid past and he's got things, but heaven help us if we don't all have something in our past we're not exactly proud of, right? We have to look at the character we're showing today. What are we doing today? Who are we today? Because if we judged everyone from birth till now, I'm sure we'd find some things that we didn't like, right? I'm also sure we'd find some things that we did like. But do we have to be that black and white that I cannot be friends with you if you support Joe Biden? No. Like I'll be sad if Joe Biden gets elected. I personally think Joe has dementia or something. I really do. And that's not me passing someone else's rhetoric. I've seen it. I've seen people that have cognitive problems, dementia, Alzheimer's, and he seems to show signs of some cognitive disabilities. Now, he also had a stroke. What was it? 15 years ago, 20 years ago. And that's one of the signs that they say that will come eventually. As a matter of fact, I think when I looked it up on Wikipedia, it's one of the first things that comes up, his stroke. So, it's not out of the question and unheard of that the man might have some cognitive disabilities. Like that doesn't make him a bad person, but it does preclude him from being president of the United States. You have to make quick decisions. You have to have your faculties there. You can't kind of be in and out. You can't. You have to be there, and you've got to be you got to be ready to act on whatever things need to be acted on. You have to be able to process the information that's given to you and make good decisions. So I would be afraid if he gets elected. I don't think he's emotionally or mentally equipped right now, besides the fact that I don't agree with his policies. So again, 100% mental decline. I agree. Frank, I do. And that's not me trying to be sarcastic and rude. I absolutely believe the man has some deficits. I mean, some of the things, did you guys hear the thing he said the other day with when they were asking him if he had been tested? I mean, a week ago, he's saying, tested, I get tested all the time. And this time he's saying, tested? What are you talking about? It's like a cocaine. If you're on cocaine, do they test you? I mean, he just started rambling in this weird, I was like, what? What does that mean? I even watched the clips of it over to see, did I miss something or what was going on? And come on, man, that's his thing. Like all of a sudden that's somehow that jive kind of connection. You guys, come on, man, what are you talking about? Like that's going to do it. That's going to cover it up. I mean, there's something wrong there. And again, that's not because, I'm voting Republican. It's because there's something wrong. Right? There's something wrong there. I don't care for his VP pick either, but that's a whole nother story because we got to talk about that one too. I'd love to know your questions, but I will plant the seed for a future show and say, okay, you went on record talking about, the whole busing thing. And I went back and read that. I watched the whole clip and I think she did say I don't think you're a racist, but she certainly suggested through the rest of her questions that he might be. So she didn't say the words, but she certainly suggested it, in my personal opinion. But then, what about the sexual, the sexual charges against him? She went on record saying she believed these women and that this needed to be done, blah blah blah. And so, like, okay, I have to admit, there's no way I could be a vice president for a president I believed was a pedophile, a rapist. It's like, that's what you call a deal breaker. So do you think he's lying or she's lying? And if you think she's lying, so you're flip flopping on what you said before, do you have new information or you just want to be the VP? Because to me, again, I know we're off on a new topic and I will add this one onto the schedule. But to me, he already told the world, I'm going to pick a black woman as my running mate. Now, that means that you're not getting picked for you. We've pulled the pool of political people down to two characteristics, and you are maybe the best of the candidates available, because you're not pulling from every available candidate, choosing the best person that will deliver the policies and is going to be a solid running mate. You chose a black woman. I think a black woman is fine if that was the right pick for you, but to have identified that, and I mean, that was obviously a political move to say, I'm going to choose a black woman as a candidate. Those are features, not I'm going to pick someone that's going to be tough on this and strong on this and has the same value set. I'm going to pick your color of your skin and your gender. That's what I'm doing. That would be like a token person. It sounds like. I'm not saying she can't do the job. I'm not saying that it's not gonna, that it can't work out right. I'm saying when you already told that's the reason you're getting picked, or that you've been put in the very small pool of this because of your gender and your skin color, that just seems like the weakest of weak things to do. Now, when you add on the fact that she believes that he is either, a pedophile or a rapist, or certainly someone who commits sexual assault, how do you justify that? I mean, I don't know. I don't get it. I really don't. I'm okay if you disagree with me, but get hateful and name calling, I'm not dealing with that. I hear you, Kim. That could be his Alzheimer's talking, right, Melanie? I don't know. Hey, Triple X. Welcome to the broadcast. All right. Anybody have any questions? I am super excited that you guys came here today. Remember, every day at 11:30 a.m., we are doing the Step Up, Stand Out, and Speak show, except for on Thursday mornings where we do the Do You Need Extra Opportunities. Tomorrow, we are going to be talking about how to turn your trash into treasures, how you can get some quick cash from things around your house. Anyway, so we'll be doing that tomorrow. If you haven't seen that, register for that link. If you go to VickiFitch.com, actually, if you go to doyouneo.com/register or VickiFitch.com/DoYouNeo, you can register and get in on the drawings. I'll put those links in here, VickiFitch.com/DoYouNeo. Oh, whoops. And yes, welcome to the broadcast. Thanks for being here, guys. I am on 7 platforms, so thank you. DoYouNeo.com. Something said there's an error. Did you guys see it on Facebook? DoYouNeo.com/register. You get in for the drawings if you actually register to be there. But yes, you can come in anyway. He went against his own party. Bernie was the second choice by far. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking, but Bernie was certainly the second pick. But Bernie's scary. I mean, his socialist views, I mean, he seems like, good old grandpa, but gosh, when you start looking and when you hear people from other countries that said, people, you need to wake up because this is exactly what happened in our country before all of a sudden we became socialist and then communist. I mean, that's what happened and our rights were taken away. I don't know if you know this or not, but I may get this wrong. So I'm just going to have to go with an Asian country because I don't remember if it was Japan or Korea. I don't recall, but they are on public assistance and they came into people's homes. And if you have a cross up, you have to take it down. If you don't take it down, then they take away your public assistance and that's what you live on. So I will have to try and find that article, but that's what happens when you allow other people to control you, where the people do not have a say in what's going on and that the government controls you. And we don't want that here in the US. And I don't think any other countries that don't have that want it. It's people try and get away from it. They try and escape because they want freedom, just like we want freedom. Some think socialism will be different here. No. Yeah, exactly. It's not going to be different. History has shown you what is going to be different here. Look at what we've done. We have the absolute freest society in the world, right? And what did we do? We have allowed, and this again, defunding the police is another topic we're going to talk about. We've allowed people to defund the police, where many people in those areas are begging for more police, not less. We have allowed them to take over cities. We've allowed Chaz or Chop or whatever you want to call it to go in there. We've allowed them burning buildings, rioting, stealing from people, acting like a bunch of morons. I mean, let's face it, that's moronic activity. It is childish or evil, depending on what their motive is. But that's not free societies do have laws and rules for a reason. You have a moral code. It's a set of ethics that says, yes, this is what we're going to do. Karis, let's see. Karis says, oh, wait, let's see. Frank says, don't like him, but he was the second choice. Harris was like number 5. No one likes her. I mean, I don't mean that in a mean way, but she was like, she had like 2%, right? I mean, she was the bottom of the barrel. So why? I don't know. I don't get it. Kara says, Jan, I believe the answer is when the years of sex trafficking and pedophile behaviors among elites, Hollywood and political, were starting to be investigated and uncovered. I did not vote for Trump in 2016, yet he has done more than any president to bring sex trafficking, human slavery, traffickers, and pedos to light. The cockroaches are scurrying big time due to the actions of his administration and shining a light in truly evil and dark activities that have been happening unchecked for, and I don't know. Here, let's see if we can read it up there across my face. Let's see. Uncheck. I don't know. It doesn't tell me what the rest of it says. But anyway, it's true. I do believe that we're going to be talking about sex trafficking and we got all kinds of great topics. As a matter of fact, next week, I think on Tuesday, Denise Smith is going to join me. We're going to be talking about homeschooling and what's going on in the schools. I don't know if you got to see. Did you guys see the picture I posted earlier? I think I have it up. I could share it with you guys. This will have to break your heart. Let me see if I can do a quick screen share and show, because this has to break your heart. Let me see if you can. Hold on. I'm trying to pick which one because it doesn't have the picture up. This has got to kill you. These children, okay, are in they're in these little plastic tents. It is the worst possible thing you could do for children. Hold on, I'm gonna try this one more time. Here it is. Okay. Did you see that? Oh, sorry, I still have that up. These are, I think you guys can still see me. These are children in clear plastic tents with masks on, and this is in Bangkok. Socially distanced, even though they're in plastic tents, like the boy in the plastic bubble, and they're playing with their blocks alone. They cannot play with each other. They have masks on in their tent. Can somebody just tell me, am I the only one that thinks that is nuts? Are you kidding me? Like, I'm speechless. I don't even know where to go with that, but we're going to be talking about homeschooling on Tuesday and what to do with that. Denise Smith is going to be joining us. And if you guys have an expertise or a topic that you know a lot about, if you know a lot about Black Lives Matter, I want somebody that really knows a lot about it, because that's going to be a tough topic and people get really ticked off. But we need to talk about the truth. We need to talk about what they stand for. They don't hide it. It's not like we're making stuff up. We just need to talk about the truth, about what's happening. And there's a difference between the organization Black Lives Matter and the situation that Black Lives Matter, because Black lives absolutely do matter. Black lives matter too. That's what I say. Okay. It's not just that they matter too. Are they serious? Melanie, they are serious. And isn't that like Jan says she has no words? Kendra says it's crazy. Are they serious? That's nuts. How are kids ever going to develop social skills when they can see but can't touch? I mean, you're going to see a rebellious child that knocks that thing off and knocks their friends off to go hug them. I mean, that would be totally me, because That's not the way we treat people. We can't this is not that kind of disease. It is infectious, right? We know most people are recovering. I think it's got 99.6% recovery rate. We got to fix this, guys. We got to be careful. We got to protect the people that need protection the most. But this is not the answer. That's not the answer. Anyway, so I'll look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow here at 11:30 a.m. For the Do You Neo show. The boy in the plastic. That's what I said. It's the boy in the plastic bubble on steroids, and he doesn't even need the EpiPen because he's not going to die, right? They won't develop immunity either. Exactly, Kim. It's nuts. I mean, I'm not trying to judge other people, but that's just nutty McNuts. That's what it is. We cannot do that to children. Anyway, you guys are an awesome audience. Please list some comments. Share this out if you haven't already. If you're watching the replay, I'd love to hear your responses anyway. Be here tomorrow at 11:30. If you haven't registered for the Do You Neo show, make sure you do so you can actually win some prizes. Again, go to VickiFitch.com/doyouneo or doyouneo.com/register. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I want to remind you, like I always do, to dream it, believe it, and achieve it.